What's going on? What's going on? If you can hear me, please let me know that my audio is clean. I would really appreciate that if you let me know that my audio is clean. Welcome back. This is episode 10 of From Data to Deals. This is a show basically where I walk you all the way through how to find deals. We are basically practicing here every day. We're going from county to county. So if you're here, please let me know that you can hear me clearly and let me know what county you're plugging in from. Okay. And in the meanwhile, I am going to, let's see here. Let's see what we got going on here. Just want to make sure that we're live. Just want to make sure I'm not talking to myself. That's all. All right, guys. Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back. I have a couple of things I want to address. The first thing I want to address is a question that came in yesterday, I guess after hours. I want to address that. If you can hear me clearly, please make sure you just let me know that you can hear me clearly. I'd appreciate that. I'm not seeing anyone, so I feel a little bit lonely. I want to hear. Let me know if you can hear me. Let's see here. In the meanwhile, I'm just stylishly kind of like sharing this. If you're on Facebook, make sure you share this to everyone. By the way, if you haven't joined the group yet, you can go ahead and join the group. D2D Nation, D2D Nation. That's what you want to search for. You go to facebook.com/group/D2D Nation. But yeah, today we're gonna dive in and go through a few. Let's see, audio is clean. Thank you, Krishan. Thank you. Let's see here. If you're on Facebook, share it to everyone else. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you demolish the like button before you leave. And you shouldn't be leaving before 4:55 anyway. Okay. So let's have some fun today. What's new out there? Let's see here. What's new out there? What are you guys paying attention to in real estate wholesaling, investing land? Basically, these are the times that you want to make sure you dedicate some time to get on some, see what's going on, even locally in your market. Sure, you may not find something you learn in one local market useful in other local market, but with a little bit of perspective, then that's easy. You can easily find some information that you may not even find useful right now, but you will find it useful later as you continue to move in this game. All right. So, but I'm having fun, really exploring these times. Real estate is for a while, it's not going to be what you probably bought into, but these are the times to really pay attention because the best place to start from is ground zero. When it's even playground, equal for everyone. Everyone get to play the same way. That's the best way to get started, in my opinion. When I started back in 2005, I came right in the middle of up and ups. And that wasn't necessarily a good thing in the long term. In the short term, of course, it was good, but it wasn't necessarily a good thing in the long term, because basically I was set up to start feeling invisible, like everything was gonna look like that forever. But it's not like that in real life, right? It's in real life, it's not like that. But when you come into the game and you're getting started in a place where you know, and you get started in a place where things are, I guess, bad, right? Like people are not sure, everyone is scared. The buyer, the sellers, they're scared, right? Um, then that's the best place to learn from. Okay, so nothing has changed for me in my business. Nothing has changed for me in terms of how I operate my business. So you will hear a lot of things like on some of those webinars, like in local market leaders. You will hear a lot of things like, "Hey, use common sense." That means people kind of lose common sense when everything is nice in the market, right? People tend to lose common sense. People tend to um, think everything is going to be rosy forever, right? Psychologically speaking, it's just what it is. Um, we don't get to control that. It's just how we're set up. If we are enjoying success long enough, we start feeling like, okay, maybe this is going to be like this forever. Maybe this is absolutely going to be like that forever. But the truth of the matter is that nothing lasts forever, not even you and I. All right. And we tend to forget that. We do. Nothing lasts forever. Okay. So the game that we're playing right now is we have to find a balance between short and long term. We have to understand that real estate is a very lucrative business. So because of that, naturally to attract lots of people, but majority of them will not make money, will not close deals. It's just what it is. Okay. I wish I can change that, but not really. It does. Bottom line is, it doesn't matter. Everyone will eat when they're supposed to eat. So when you come into this game, just keep in mind that you want to learn how to be here for a long time. You want to close a deal like tomorrow, like yesterday, sure. But you also always have at the back of your mind that this is a long-term game, and don't try to outplay yourself. Don't play yourself. You listen. A lot of listening. There's a balance between listening. There's a balance between listening, and there's also between that and making sure that you are showing up with some confidence to the marketplace. You're a professional. I'm sure you have your own day job before you came into this game. And and you were very good at what you do. You're a hard worker. That's why I laugh at people that say it's hard working. Like, listen, most people I know are hard workers. So that clearly is not what's missing for a lot of people. What's missing for a lot of people is it's probably strategy. Okay, strategy, and basically learning how to set up a foundation that you can build on top of. Okay, learning how to stay in a game consistently without depending on yourself to be consistent, because your ability to be consistent is probably limited because you're human like the rest of us. So you need systems to help you stay consistent. Does that make sense? All right, so there's a question that came in. Let me see if I can pull up the question. It came from my friend. I'm not sure if it's live. If you're live hanging out with us, just let me know that you're hanging out with us. That way, his name is, let me see here, Erasmo. So I'm not sure if he's hanging out with us, but he sent this, I guess he was watching our replay yesterday. All right. Today is the 10th episode. Yeah. So like I said, we're going for 100 minimum. Okay. That's the minimum. Then after that, I will see about, I will see if I want to continue or not. But right now, I'm having a good time. Okay. So let me see if I can pull this up really quickly. Boom. So that's the question right there. Let's see. That's the question. There you go. So question says, when a property has an auction date and the date already passed, does it mean that it has auctioned already, or is that the bank took possession of it? I have a few on my list like that. I want to make. Is there a rest of the question? Let's see. Want to make sure my marketing dollars are used correctly. Okay. All right. Good question. All right. So I'll tell you right now, if it's showing that the auction date is in the past, I will basically not mark it to that list. Okay. I will take that out of my list. But to answer the first part of the question, by the way, today again we're gonna go into the software as usual. Okay, I'm sure that's why you're here, but we're gonna do that because I believe that the more you get familiar with the data, the better you're gonna be, the more it sticks, and the higher the chances of success. Okay, because it really comes down to data. Everything that we do today is data driven. Okay, and that's where this question came from as well. When a property has an auction date in the past, doesn't mean it's been foreclosed on. I can tell you that in New Jersey, people have at least they have another additional 28 days after the original auction date. Okay, so basically, if there's an auction date that comes along, they have the right to go to the court. Okay, they go to a foreclosure court. I think it's I forgot what they call it, because I have basically made it a point not to go to the court ever again. But I used to go to the court and do this extension for them. I would get a power of attorney from homeowners that their property is almost at the brink of them losing it, right? Then I'll go to the court with the power of attorney and I'll get it extended. And I have closed deals like that before. But these days I don't have that much time to be running around the street to go help someone. Instead, what I do is I'll have them go do it themselves. Okay, say, hey, you have the auction coming up, right? Okay, go ahead, go to the court and ask them that you want to extend. They don't need a power of attorney because it's themselves. They just take an ID, and the court has to give them 2 weeks at a time, and they have that twice. Okay, so 14 days at a time, and they have that twice, and it's usually the same day that the county conducts the auction. Okay, so they will extend it 14 days, and then if they need more time, they can go back. But before I use those 28 days, which is a right to them, right? They have the right to use that 28 days. Before I have them use it, I always try to get the bank to put the extension. If the bank puts the extension in from their end, then they haven't used the 28 days. We leave the 28 days there. They can always use it later. So it gives us more time. However, the bank is not going to put an extension on an auction unless there's a meaningful promising purchase contract, like a contract that's been locked in and is promising, right? The bank is not going to put an extension unless to them they feel like there's a chance this deal will close. But the bank is always open to closing the deal because they'll rather just do the deal right now than wait to find out that they can't find a buyer at an auction, which is for the most part is probably going to be the case, right? So it doesn't, for one, it doesn't mean that they actually got foreclosed on. It could have been extended, right? But again, I don't bother about that. I let the owner tell me if it's extended or not, and I go by what they say. So if the date is already passed and I'm literally pulling data, then I'm going to remove that off my list, okay? So does it mean that the bank has already auctioned? Maybe not, maybe. Bottom line is that I removed that from my list, okay? So that's the answer to that question. Okay, and you will see example of what we're talking about here in a second. All right, guys. Thank you so much for the 4 thumbs up. We need one more, so make sure you give it a thumbs up before we leave. So let me go ahead and let me share our screen. And if you have a county that you want me to dive into today, let me know. Let me know what county you want me to go into today, and then we could go into that county. In the meanwhile, I'm gonna go here and play around. This is like the best thing ever in the world. Let's see here. Let's see. All right. So this software that I'm using right here, it's called PropStream. You can find it at EmpireBigData.com. You get to test it out for 7 days if you haven't. So make sure you do that. All right. And if you want me to coach you personally for 4 weeks, you got to go through my 3 hours workshop. Okay. You got to go through my 3 hours workshop first. Okay. And you can find that here at, let's see, it is myEmpirePRO.com/go virtual right there. Okay. So you can write that down. It's a free workshop that covers everything. And then at the end of it, I'll give you a chance to decide if you want to work with me. All right, so that's that right there. In the meanwhile, let's go on to the software. Let me see. No, we're not going to go to California today. We were in California yesterday. Anthony, we were in California yesterday. I'm going to pick, if somebody else, yeah, but let me see first. Let me see how many people are in that county in California. First of all, looks like it's probably not. Let me see. Riverside. 2.2 million people. Yeah, that's like the top. That's number 11 on the list, population of the country. I want to kind of dive into the middle a little bit today. If we have a little bit of time, I'll come back to it. I promise. Okay. So let's go to today. I want to go to. Let me see. Let's go to Fairfield in Connecticut. It's almost 1 million people in that area. It's Fairfield in Connecticut. It's 939,000 people in that location. All right. Thank you, Anthony. I know you're understanding. Thank you, man. All right. So we'll come back to it if we have to. So let's go to Fairfield. 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 Fairfield County. CT. Okay. All right. I like the number. So I like to see at least a minimum of 1,000 properties on the market. So there's 4,500 properties on this market on the MLS. So that means there are people moving in that area. Okay. Now, I always like to start from pre-foreclosure. That's my favorite because that's where I started from back in 2005. But all I did was I just sent letters to everyone on that list. And the only way I could filter at the time is I could go and say, okay, I want everybody who just got on the list in the last 3 months, right? But these days the data softwares are a little bit better. Okay, so I'm not stacking on how long ago they got into pre-foreclosures. I'm actually stacking across board as far as how much problems that this properties is facing or this property ownership is facing, right? So that's what I like to do. But today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to go start from the vacant list. Okay, so I'm showing at least 11,284 vacant properties. Okay, I like vacant because it's a property sitting down there vacant, but it's not enough to just send postcards or send an outreach campaign to vacant properties, because again, people on a vacant list could just be a vacation home, right? And anytime I see water on the map, right, then you could this, like a bunch of these houses right here could be easily vacation homes next to the beach, right? So people that don't have a real reason why they have to sell, essentially. Okay, so you want to be thinking about that when you're looking at this data. Like, okay, would this person have a real reason to sell at a discount? No, they may have a reason to sell, but not at a deep discount, because that's the idea of real estate investing. We find properties that we can buy at a discount. We're not going to be delusional and think that people are just going to wake up and say, hey, come here, Ola, I'm going to give you my property. You can take it away from me. It's worth $100,000, but you could take it for $20,000. It doesn't work that way. The only reason, on an average, that someone would like to sell at a deep discount is because they need to use all that equity to buy time. They're running out of time. The property is not worth it for them on their balance sheet. Okay, so a property that's vacant, that property taxes is being paid on it, right? There's a chance that they may want to sell, but it doesn't mean they want to sell. It could just be a vacation home, and it's just one of many vacation homes around the country. But on an average, that's not the case. An average person don't want a property sitting down there vacant. Does that make sense? So with that being said, let's dive in through from the data from vacant, right? So what I do is I click on that, and then I have 11,000 properties. But today I have a budget for 1,000 properties that I want to send postcards to, and I want to skip trace them. Okay, so what is my budget? I want to skip trace the phone numbers. I want to find the phone numbers of these people. So what is my budget? If I have budget for 1,000 pieces of records, and it's going to cost me 58 cents to send the postcards, and an additional 30 cents to skip trace to find their phone numbers and email addresses as much as I can, right? What is that budget? Anybody want to do the math real quick? So that's a total of 88 cents budget per record, right? But I have space for 1,000. Okay, so if you do that math, it sounds like $900, right? $880. Okay, so 1,000, multiply that by 0.88 cents. That's $880. Okay, so I need 1,000 properties, and I need them to. So what's the criteria here? The criteria for me is my budget. I start with my budget, right? Well, I first of all make sure that the market, that people are buying and selling in that market. So I see 4,500 properties on the market in that market. I see 1,838 pre-foreclosures in that market. Sadly, that's a good thing. Okay, that means people are moving money. The banks are acting. The banks are giving money away to people that can't afford it, right? And the only reason banks do that is because they're confident about the market. If the market is no market, it gets that much difficult to finance properties. Okay, so but the byproduct of finances that happened in the past is pre-foreclosures, right? Auctions, same thing. It's a properties that has already been scheduled for. They're in pre-foreclosure, but they're already scheduled to be auctioned. 149 already foreclosed on. 23,000 cash buyers. I like that. Okay, I like to see a few thousands. Okay, probably 10,000 in a healthy market. Okay, that's over time though. Not necessarily all of them are active right now. Okay, so if you've been following this series, I've showed you how to find out those that are actually active right now. You don't want to be skip tracing and looking for 23,000 people. One of them may have just bought a property for cash about 15 years ago, right? And so you want to make sure they're active in the last 1 year. This is my personal filter that I saved here. If you save a filter here, you will see how to save a box of your favorite criteria. So based on my personal criteria, there are actually 5 property that fit my criteria right now on this same list, right? But that's also based on the existing market that I'm working on right now. Okay. So we're going with 11,000 vacant. It's 196,000 properties with high equity. Okay, meaning people actually uh, own the property for, the liens against the property are way less than what the properties are worth. Okay, so I mean, you can interpret this data in so many ways, but let's not get into that. It's not relevant to us, right? So I'm going to go to filter. Okay, and we already have that everyone on this list is vacant. Okay, we already know that, so we don't need to mess with this second criteria. But if we say non-owner occupied, it's not necessarily to put that there because the property is already vacant. So let's just leave it vacant, right? Because even when I click no, what happened here? It reduced the list. Let me see, to 6,156. I guess, but let's just leave it at. I'm just gonna go back and take that out. It's not necessary, really, because I need at least 1,000. So I don't want to narrow the list too far, and then I don't want to narrow the list too far. Let's just say that, okay? So I'm gonna start with this. Definitely, I need residentials only. Okay, I don't want doctor's offices. I don't want a strip mall. I don't want mixed use. I don't want a property with a residential at the top. I don't want any of that. The more of those kind of things you have, the more difficult it is to sell, find a willing buyer. Okay. If it falls in my lap, I will do whatever it takes to make some 10 grand, 20 grand from it, but I'm not going to spend my marketing resources on that. So residentials only. Okay, at least for the scope of what we're doing here. There are people that care about apartment complexes. Like, for example, there are certain campaigns that we run. My brother, who is my partner, he's obsessed with apartment buildings. So he's always saying, I need apartment buildings to be there. So instead of just picking single and multifamily 2 to 4, he would pick apartment house, 100 units, 5 units, because he's exploring that. For me personally, I'm a digital guy and house flipping guy, and keep my money and keep it moving. That's the kind of person I am. The old apartment thing, I haven't found the passion properly in me. I like fix and flip still, like projects like fix and flip. I don't mind that. I do that from time to time. But apartment complexes and stuff like that, I know for a fact I have to, but it's almost like I could care less. Okay, I rather build apartments on the digital platforms, which is why you see my content everywhere. Okay, I prefer that. That's just the kind of guy I am. So I don't know if it has anything to do with my computer engineering background. I'm not sure, but that's just, I wake up excited about creating content and putting content out every day. So think of it that way. Okay. Um, so single family, multi-family, all right. Um, That's really all I care. Okay, there's this other one. I don't like condos, so I really do everything in my power to exclude anything with homeowners association. Okay, specifically because of homeowners association, they have what they call a right of first refusal, the right to buy first. They have all kind of craziness in those co-op and condo buildings that you know. Unless there's a really motivated seller that fell on my lap, I try not to deal with that. Okay. Then I go down to MLS, absolutely only market to properties off market. Um, because I love realtors, I love agents. I don't want to get in their way. Let's just keep it that way for now, okay? So no houses on the market. Pre-foreclosures, I don't want properties that's already foreclosed on, that's already owned by a bank. So I do no notice of default. I do auctions, and this is probably where Erasmus' question is coming from, because it's probably seen property with past auction date on the list. But let me show you something. So I like notice of default auctions, default releases. That's what I like. Okay. I'm gonna click close. Okay. I'm gonna click close for now, and show you something. If you look on this list, right? If you look on this list, this date is not. So these are vacant properties. See, I'm already down to 72, which means I'm way too narrowed down. Okay. I'm going to show you something in a second, okay? But before that, let's go here. Uh, Remember, the base quick list is vacant, right? But I'm saying it's okay to add notice of default, list pending auction, okay? And now the property list is down to 72. I'm trying to see if I can see a pre-foreclosure on this list, but I'm not going to see pre-foreclosure date on this list. You know why? Because my base list is vacant, okay? So the only thing it's showing me is last sales date. Okay, so if you want to see the actual on your preview list like this, you want to make sure that you pick the base list. You want that base list to be pre-foreclosure. Is one of the reasons why I like using that. But let's just keep it this way right now. If we have time, I'll go back and do it that way so I can show you. But basically, what I was trying to show you right now is to be able to show you the date. If you see too many auction dates and they're in the past, then I definitely would go back to the filter list, okay? And I will remove this auction date. So that has to do with the laws, the time frame for pre-foreclosures to foreclosure in that state. That's what it has to do with. If you're seeing too many auction dates in the past, I definitely will remove this checkbox and only keep it on notice of default and default releases. Okay. So that's what I wanted to point out. So here I like to see minimum of 5 years. If there are too many people on my list, I will tighten it up to 7 years. Okay. Include unknown sales date is fine. I like to suppress everything that has active bankruptcy on the list. Okay. All right. And you may say, hey, hola, you wanted 1,000. I'm going to show you what I would do with that in a second. Okay. All right. So equity. Okay. Equity 50%. I like to see 50% of equity. I don't want them to owe too much on the property. All right, let's see here. Yep. So I'm gonna click close. So we're down to 31, right? We're down to 31. So let me see something real quick. So if I go back here into pre-foreclosures, all right. So okay, so close. So all of this property, right? Okay, we got 31 right now. Okay, but I needed 1,000. There's some non-negotiable criteria that I have here because again, I want my money to go as far as possible. Vacant, I started with vacant, so clearly I'm starting with vacant because I need it to be vacant. Okay, if you don't require that the property has to be vacant, then don't start with vacant. You go to pre-foreclosure. Okay, but the one requirement that I need when I'm talking to, I dismiss sellers all the time. Okay, if they're giving me a hard time, and sometimes with vibe, if the vibe is wrong, I'll just dismiss them and just send them a quick letter saying, sorry, we've decided to, the property doesn't fit our criteria. I'll send them a quick email to say that. Not after contract. I'm talking about before contract and negotiations, right? Sometimes I'll just do that because the vibe is wrong. Because if the vibe is wrong in the beginning, there's a good chance they will keep bringing that bad vibe all the way till the deal falls through. Usually they won't close either. Okay. So it's like a total waste of time. Okay. That's why you need a pipeline, and you want to make sure that you're always running a pipeline so you have options. Remember, you're showing up to help these people, okay? Not the other way around. You're the one that's helping them. You're the consultant, okay? You're not a salesperson. You're there to see if you can help them out of their problems. That's why you don't want to go for just high equity, because when you do that, you position yourself to beg that they should give you a house for free, okay? And that's not what we want, okay? So I'm going to click close here. I'm just going to dig into one of these properties real quick. We have 30, let's go to 272 East Avenue, okay? When you click into it like this, every list that this property is on, you can see them here basically, right? Obviously, property details, every property will be on that list. But there's only pre-foreclosure tab here when this property is being recorded into a pre-foreclosure public record. That's the only time you will see that. So if your property is not on a pre-foreclosure list, this tab will not be here. Okay. Obviously, comparables is here because you want to look at the comparables of the property, right? And then tax information. Obviously, most properties have taxes. All right. Mortgage. If there's a mortgage against the property, you will see that here. Transactional history. If there's nothing, you won't see it. So when I click on it, you can see a mortgage that was recorded in 1998 for $112,000. The balance right now is $48,000. But when you go here, there's a pre-foreclosure that was recorded here. Maybe it's somewhere in the past. Okay, not too long ago. It's 2018. Some people may say, but that's too old. That's like 2 years ago. Yeah, that's exactly about 2 years ago. What says they want to sell right now? Well, if they were struggling at one point, there's a good chance they're probably still struggling. Okay. And I'm trying to see here, there's no discharge recorded here. So sometimes you will see a release from the lawsuit, from this lawsuit. I don't see anything like that. So there's a good chance they're still facing foreclosure, right? Notice of lease pendants 2008, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's still on the list, okay? Now, keep in mind that how much is on the list also depends on the laws of Connecticut. We're in Connecticut today, remember? Okay. So now also I'm on the comparables right now. I only come here, by the way, if there's a lead. Okay. That means I'm talking to someone that's expressed interest in selling to me. Okay. That's expressed interest in selling the property. If that's not the case, I don't look at it, right? Okay. So comparables, assisting comparables, 100 neighbors in that area, that's 150 cash buyers in that same area based on this criteria right here. What's this criteria? 1 year of comparables within a half a mile radius. Okay. All right. 2 foreclosures in that area, 5 liens, high equity properties, 150 vacant properties in that area. It's a bit rough in that area. I'll tell you that much right now. But 150 free and clear, 13 bankruptcies. Okay. So you can see here is public records. That's sales from public records, sales from MLS, or both. Okay. So what happens is that if you select both, sometimes you will see double reflection of the same sales. So look at this right now. This same sale was recorded by the MLS. As you can see, MLS sold, right? But also public record. That's the record from the county. It's the same sale, essentially, right? It's the same sale, but it's coming up both because the software is pulling data from both places. So you don't want to do both for the most part. You just want to do MLS because these are the actual agents that recorded into the MLS. It does end up at the county records, and that's what public record is, right? So, but this is much more in time. Now, look at something. I'm seeing something here. It says condominium, right? Condominium. I don't want condominium on this list, right? That's condos, right? Remember? But this is where you select that. So under property class, you want to make sure you do residentials. You don't want other types of properties in your comparables. Here, I want single family, Sometimes there are certain special scenarios where I will put multi-family as well. Okay, because usually the reason being, usually if there are single family on a block, it's usually a bunch of single family on that block. And if there's a multi-family on that block, then there's usually multi-family on that block, right? So, but I'm also seeing something. It says duplex. This actual subject property is a duplex, 2 units. That's what it's saying as far as the MLS record is saying. Let me see here. There's so there's duplex here. There's option of duplex here. So it's still nothing comes up in that area. Okay, if nothing comes up, then it's I don't bother about it. I just want to know what properties are selling for on that block or within half a mile radius, right? Now, personally, from my experience, appraisals will go as far as 1 mile radius. Okay, they will go as far as 1 mile radius. But sometimes, especially in the market like what we have right now, they won't let you go 1 year into the past. They will go only 6 months. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 months into the past. Today is the 19th. All right. So these are the properties that sold within 1 mile radius in the last 6 months in that area, and the average year we're looking at $396,000. That's average sales price. Okay, price per square footage is $303. So this number right here is basically what you probably want to multiply with this number, square footage, 1,208. Okay, and that's how I think that's how they get that number. Let's make sure of that. I don't ever really remember these things. 303 multiplied by 1,200 square footage. Yeah, 363. Well, that's close enough. Let me use the actual number. 303 multiplied by 1,208. 366. That's close enough. Okay. See what I'm calling close enough. On my calculator is showing 366. They're showing 396 here. So I always tell people, like, if you see $30,000, $50,000 differences in prices and stuff like that, those are insignificant. That's or somebody told you, like, hey, this property is worth 396, but I'm selling it for 366. That is not a discount, okay? Especially when you consider the percentage of $30,000 difference on a $400,000 price range. That's like nothing. Okay, that's if they were giving me that house and they're truly motivated, I will have to negotiate a short sales. Okay, so for me to consider that, oh, there's a price difference here, there will have to be about a 25% price difference. What is that? $100,000. Okay, so I would need to see this price point at around $300,000 for me to say, whoa, this must be a deal here, right? You got to think percentage wise as a business owner. Don't think linearly, because numbers don't work like that in the business world. You have to think in terms of percentages. Okay, so a $10,000 difference on a $20,000 property, that will be 50%. That's significant. Okay, a $10,000 difference on a $400,000 property is not the same thing, because money costs money. Does that make sense? The bank is looking at the price of money in percentages. So should you. They look at bills on a monthly basis. So should you. If you're calculating ROIs, you need to calculate it based on 1 year, 12 months. Okay, but that's additional information that we don't need to worry about right now. So basically, the point here is that any tab you see here, when you do get a lead, you want to explore the tabs that you see here, because those are important information about the property. But we don't come here unless a lead is generated. So in reality, we should only be hanging out here, and then here, skip tracing, and then here in campaign, these 3 tabs: search, skip tracing, campaign, and maybe my properties. Those are the tabs, unless you generate a lead. Once you generate a lead, then really you're not really clicking on anything here, right? What you're doing is you're typing the address of the property directly into the spot. That's what you're doing. Okay, that's how you do that. Okay, so now that I have only 31 properties here, what would I do now? If these were my criteria, right? I already click search. I'm not gonna go and relax on this non-negotiables here. I need all of this property to be vacant. They're not. That's non-negotiable. I need them to be residential. I need them to be single family, multi-family, 2 to 4, unless your preference changes based on your personal knowledge, right? But if you're starting off brand new, I'm telling you, these are the criteria you need to stick to. I want to exclude all homeowners association, not on the market, notice of default and lease pendings and default releases absolutely need to be owned for more than 5 years, okay? Sales date, unknown sales date, yes. Quick suppress, no active bankruptcies, 50% equity. Doesn't mean that this is going to get you a deal fast. No, I'm just telling you these are reasons, except this part right here. This is my personal preference. But all these other ones are real reasons. Okay, there's some of them that are just preference. But all these other ones are real reasons why people need to sell. Vacant, especially vacant, and notice of default, lease pendings, those are real reasons why people need to sell right away. Why time is what they are looking to get, not money. Okay, if they're looking to get money, they need to be talking to an agent. That's why I love real estate agents. If they're money motivated, they should be talking to agents. All right. If I've said anything that made sense, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. Okay, I see 7, 8 people watching on YouTube. I only see 4 thumbs up. Please make sure you give it a thumbs up before you leave. If anything I said has been of value, reverse, or straightforward. Okay. All right. All right. So I'm gonna save this, save search, and I'm gonna call it D2D just because we're here today. D2D. Just gonna name it D2D. What's today's date? 0519. Okay. 0519 2020. I'm just gonna call it that. You could call it whatever you want. Okay. And if you want to have additional details, you can do that here. If you want to include in your home screen, like I just did this, you simply have to check this box, okay? But if you do that, you have to replace something else. So to ask you which one of the existing ones do you want to replace, once you select this, you'll be able to change this to any one of the boxes you want to replace. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to say here. Then also you have the choice. The beautiful thing about this software is that you have the choice of saying it should email you anytime a new property comes on the records and it fit this criteria. So this could be your do or die filter list, right? So basically you will say, hey, every week, any new properties on the market or in the records in the database that fits my criteria of D2D 0519 2020, please send it to me. And then you to send it to you by email. That's pretty cool because then you can log in and get a postcard out right away before everyone else does. See, doing that, that's something that you have luxury of doing. That I don't have luxury of running to the computer to send a mail every time. I don't. I deal in bulk, right? But maybe your budget is limited right now, and you just want to make sure you tackle it as it comes, right? Then you can set this up, and basically you have time. You should have time if you're getting started, and then you get to the computer and get a postcard out, or get a skip trace, 30 cents, and pick up a phone and call somebody just because you're the first person calling them because they just ended up on that list of pre-foreclosures on that same day, right? That's one way you can beat the people that have more money than you. So it's all about resource allocation. You either have more money or you have more time. You cannot not have both, okay? So I'm going to save that, okay? Now, with that being saved, right, I know there are 31 properties and I can always use that filter because it's now under my all searches. You can see it right here, right? It's now here. So what I can do is what I would do is this 31 properties fit my criteria, right? I would select this, add to a list, and then I will create a new if I'm doing it for the first time, and I will get it in there, okay, or not, okay, or create a new one or add it to an existing list. I'm going to cancel, right? So now I'm going to go to that county, okay, that Mr. Russell told me earlier. That's what we're going to do now using that same filter. I already have 31 counties or 31 properties that fits my criteria in Fairfield County in Connecticut, but I want to go to Riverside County now, okay? because he suggested that earlier. So it's a perfect. So instead of me doing everything I've done all day today and doing that all over, I'm just one click away to finding properties in Riverside County that fit that same criteria. So basically, I will go here, simply go here, and I will type in Riverside County. You want to make sure you spell out county if that's what you're looking for. If you know you want to narrow it down to a city, then you don't have to put county, all right? If there's a city called Riverside, right? Riverside County, right there, it will pop up in the auto suggest, and you want to click on that. When you click on it, right, the filter should still stay on. So now it's running through all of the records. That's why it took time. It's running through all the records to find this 23 properties that fit that same criteria. If you click into here, you will see that the same filter that I set up is still there, right? So let's even assume it's not there. Like, let's say for some weird reason, I'm going to clear all, right? And now we have 0, 0. Let's see it's not there. Remember, I saved that search. It's right here, right? I saved it. So I'm going to do Riverside County. It's under my recent here. Then I'm going to see everything, all 1 point something million property. Is that what this is? Yeah. So that's a lot, right? On the records, right? All of them. But I don't want all these properties. I'm going to go here under all searches. I'm going to click on this, and then it's going to give me my 31 in 2 clicks. Pretty cool, right? And that's how you save time. So instead of me saying, let me relax my, then I'll simply, let me relax my criteria because I need 1,000. No, my criteria that are non-negotiable, period. The thing is that I have 3,000 plus counties around the nation that I can apply the same filter to. I want increased chances that these people would want to sell a property to me at a discount, quote unquote, motivated sellers. So I'm now going to relax on the criteria in my filter. Some people call it stack. Okay. I'm not going to relax that. Instead, I will go to the next county over because we live in 2020 and I can do deals anywhere, nationwide, from anywhere in the world, as long as there's a laptop and the internet connection, and there's internet connection. Is that making sense, guys? All right. We got about 6 more minutes. If you have any questions, this is a good time to post it. It's a good time to post your question right now if you have any specific question, okay? Does that make sense? That's what this filter are here for, okay? That's what they're there for. That's the beauty about this. And all you have to do is basically select them, add them, and then you can run through campaign here. From this tab right here, you can send them a postcard for 58 cents each. Also, they have pre-designed postcards for you in there that you can pick any one of. There's no, like, it's about reaching out to people. It's not about which postcard is better. Honestly, it's about who's going to be more consistent than the other person. I'm telling you, that's what it's about. Who's going to be the only system you should be designing ever is a system that will help you remain more consistent than your competitors. Okay. Some people will say, oh, this system is better than that. It could be, okay, but we don't know. The only thing I know for a fact is that the people that win in this game are the people that are the most consistent. That's how you win any game, not just this game, okay? That's how people win marathons, by making sure that they can, it's about survival of the fittest, okay? It's about making sure you stay fit. How do you stay fit? You don't stay fit by saying, I'm just going to be fit. Like intentions are completely overrated. Your desire is overrated too, okay? You can want it and not get it, okay? The key thing is to remember to stay consistent, not by staying consistent, by building a system to help you stay consistent. Okay. And that's why I love this software. That's what I love the most about this software, because you can literally just log in every day. Okay. And just do what you got to do within the limits of your budget. It's not about how big your budget is, it's about how consistent you can be. But all that for how long? Don't ask me questions until you've done it for 12 months. Okay, just don't, because then I will find it, not really, but I will find it disrespectful, but not really, because it's not that personal, right? Right? If you come to me and say this doesn't work and you haven't tried it for 12 months, it makes me look at you sideways, kind of, like, what are you talking about, right? But It's about being consistent, because I know people that have made all the wrong things just because they're stubborn about this and they keep at it, right? They close the first deal. Okay. Now, some of them will close the first deal out of luck, and then they don't know exactly how they got there, and then they get burnt out. There are many people that have closed 1 or 2 deals and they're no more in the business. Many people, even 10 deals, because they refuse to build a system that it can wake up 4 hours a week, 4 hours per week. Yes, I said it. 4 hours per week and do it over and over again, right? And that's how you stay in this game. That's how you stay in this game. All right. All right. So that's what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm appreciative if you come here and hang out with me. Just make sure you give it a thumbs up. If I said, oh, thank you so much. We got that thumbs up on 6. Thank you so much. Now, I don't know what we got from Facebook, because Facebook don't feed to my screen anymore. Let me see if I can see anything. There's one person. I think there's one person watching from Facebook. There was earlier. So Facebook froze, I guess. Yeah, so thank you so much for hanging out. Here's what you can do to do me a favor. The only favor you can do for me is make sure you give it a thumbs up. Okay. Now, if you want to take it a top, take it one step above it, just share it. Just share it to social media, your social media network somewhere, and let people know that we're hanging out here. But I'm having a lot of fun doing this, and I'll be back here at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Tomorrow is what? Wednesday? Yes, I'll be right back here at 4 p.m. on Wednesday tomorrow, and then we will do this all over again. If there's any new updates, I will bring that as well with the business. The business is not going anywhere. I guarantee you, the business is not going anywhere. Okay. So it's just about making sure you stay in the game and just keep at it and keep doing it. Stay within the budget that you can afford to do over and over and over again, because consistency is the real secret. I will say, make sure you have at least $100 minimum to market every month, because anything below that, you will lack momentum, and you're human. If there's no momentum, you will get tired of it and you will quit. Realistically, how quickly should we expect our first deal? 1 year. Okay, 1 year. Your first deal can happen next week, by the way. It can happen 2 weeks time from now. But don't set when you want me to give you any time less than 1 year, you're basically giving yourself an ultimatum. Okay, this is very mental. Entrepreneurship is very, very mental. So you want to make sure you set yourself up to win. What happens is that you want to do it like this. The goal should be not closing your first deal. The goal should be how many people I can talk to over the next 1 month. How soon can you talk to someone? I guarantee you can talk to someone within the next 2 weeks. Because that's a byproduct. Like, closing deals is a byproduct of talking to people, right? So talking to people by text messages, sending a postcard out, text message, postcard, text message, postcard, just consistently doing that. When you close your first deal, or at 1 year anniversary, we will reassess things and see how well you're doing. Okay. And we'll reassess so we can scale up. Okay. So change strategies, whatever that is, right? So whichever one comes first, your first deal or the first year. Okay. When I say first year, I don't mean first year that you've heard about wholesaling. I'm talking about first year that you knew you did something consistently. There's no way you're going to do for straight 1 year and not close a deal. It's impossible. I know that for a fact. Okay. With a minimum of $100 budget per month. But as far as how soon you can close your deal, exactly the way you just framed the sentence, there is no real answer for it, because you can close a deal tomorrow, literally, like literally. Okay. But that will be luck. And people do get lucky in the game. Okay. And that's why you see testimonials like, I closed my first deal in 2 months and one. That's why you see that. But that's not a business. It's not a business until you've gathered enough data to know that this is going to happen over and over again. Until you know that this is here to stay. I figured this out. Well, that's why I'm here and telling you this, because I've gone through a recession and I know what that feels like, and I know what it feels like to go to the top and then crash to the bottom. I just hit my hand on the table, right? I know what that feels like. So I also know what it looks like to build it back up. So there's some things that I just know because as long as I'm alive, I'm just gonna do it. So I can show up over and over again, and I know what's gonna happen. Uh, but the only thing that can tell me how soon is data, and my data may be different from yours. It may be different from market to market. So that's really what I have to say about that. Just make sure you come in this game prepared like a business owner who knows that this works. The question obviously is not, does this work? And I'm glad nobody's asking me if it works. If it works, you got to get to it and just do what you got to do. All right. That's what I have for you on this episode. What I want you to do is make sure, if you're brand new here, make sure that you go get the book. I have a book free at smartrealestatewholesaling.com. Okay. And then I'll give you this. I'm a little clumsy if you didn't notice. Real Estate Money Secrets is my newest book. You can also get it PDF for free. And they're also available. By the way, they're also available everywhere on Amazon, on audible.com, audiobook. They're everywhere, so you can, whichever one you prefer, you can get it from there. All right. Let me see here. All right. Yeah. A little overtime today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Make sure you go grab your version over there, EmpireBigData.com. If you want me to coach you personally, the prerequisite is to go through the 3 hours workshop. So make sure you go through the 3 hours workshop. Is at myEmpirePRO.com/go virtual. Okay. If you want to be on the disposition side of things, you want to build a big bias list and be able to monetize it. That's what 11dayschallenge.com is for. That's another ball game entirely. It's a different model, but still wholesaling. Okay, just want to be on the other side of it, disposition. So right now, this class is about acquisition. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will see you on the next one. Again, I got a copyright strike again yesterday, so that's why I didn't play music. I want to keep it clean. I don't want a copyright strike from YouTube. They're crazy. But thank you for hanging out with me. We'll see you on the next one, and peace.